Hi, everybody. Welcome to Meet the Mailers. I'm Paul Bobnak for Who's Mailing What, and today I'm talking with Chris Matthews. He is the account manager for Scentisphere, a scent marketing agency for many CPG brands. And we're going to talk about all things you need to know about using the power of scent in your direct mail campaigns. Now, before we get started, if you have any questions or feedback, please comment in the box below. You can show your support for the Who's Mailing What channel by tapping the like button. And to get notified of when we add new videos, click on subscribe. Now let's meet the mailers. Hey, Chris, welcome.
Hi, Paul. Thanks for having me.
No, you're welcome. Glad you can make it today. Let's talk about your background to get us started. How did you get started in the world of print and marketing?
Sure. So I was a 1998 graduate of the School of Business at the University of Connecticut and knew I wanted to be in sales. I didn't quite know what I wanted to do. And, I met some folks from Wallace Computer Services, which sounded like a computer company to me, but was actually a pretty large printing company, and ended up accepting a job there and was with that organization that transitioned a couple times for about 24 years. So Wallace turns into more Wallace, which was purchased by R.R. Donnelley. And so I had a great 23-year run of printing and direct mail with R.R. Donnelley. And then Scentisphere was actually my customer when I was at R. Donnelley. And, at one point, it just started to make a lot of sense to me. It was really clear that I should be at Scentisphere. So I've been here for just about 2 years, and it's been great.
Awesome. And can you just tell the audience a little bit about Scentisphere and when it was founded and all that kind of stuff?
Sure. So Scentisphere was founded in 2002,
Mm-hmm.
basically with one main product, and it was a rub and smell varnish for magazine print ads.
Okay.
And since then, we've kind of built on that technology to now, be able to be used in all different channels, in all different ways for all sorts of companies. Our heritage is with CPG companies, brands that have fragrant products.
Mm-hmm.
But as we'll get into with direct mail, we've really kind of expanded that out to now be able to reach and be relevant to brands that don't have fragrant products.
Right, exactly. And I'm glad you bring all that up because I have, a bunch of samples that, I picked up from you guys at the National Postal Forum and the Printing United Expo. And, in my opinion, samples are always the best way to exactly, advertise your products and services.
Well, that's really true. In fact, I had a meeting yesterday where the client said to me, "Do you guys ever have a bad meeting?" Because we had spread out all these samples and they were loving what we showed them. And the
Right.
truth is that when we are able to spread out our samples and sit with clients, we never have a bad meeting. It can sometimes be tough for us to explain to brands that don't think they have a link to fragrance how we can be relevant to them in direct mail. But
Mm-hmm.
once we have that first meeting, it becomes clear and it's just a lot of fun.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I thought about that back in a few months ago when you were at the Printing United, or excuse me, at the National Postal Forum, and you had this postcard for the Printing
Yeah.
United show with the scratch and sniff peach, which is really powerful in a lot of different ways because you also have the power of, the visual impact of this, simple postcard.
Right.
Alongside.
And the great thing is, and we'll talk about it, is the connection to the city, right? Atlanta is the peach city. And so
Right.
that was a great marketing connection. And that's a lot of what we do with our clients is try to find fragrances that have that connection to their campaign.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, that's a great lead in to talk about the unique solutions that Scentisphere offers. Can you talk about the varnishes and the coatings in your technologies? Um,
Sure.
like which ones are used for mail applications,
Yeah.
uh, all that
Yeah.
stuff.
So I'll start with our scent appeal label. It's a label product that is used with mass and fine fragrance clients and a lot in the candle industry. So it's a clear two-part label that has a hinge and you can peel it up and there's a scented gelatin underneath that top ply.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great, really elevated way of delivering fragrance. Like I said, a lot of our fine and mass fragrance clients use it. And so that is eligible to be affixed either within a mail piece or on the outside. And then really what's most popular with most of our direct mail clients is our rub and smell product.
Okay.
And that comes either as a coating or a varnish. So, we basically work with a brand and with the printer and say, okay, what's the press setup here? Do you have an open ink station for varnish, or do you have an open color station for coating? And then we come up with the best way, within that format to deliver scent.
Right. Yeah, that was going to be one of my questions, is talking about the process when you sit down with a client or even a prospect, but definitely like starting out with a client. Where do you first coming up with these ideas so they can know how
Yeah.
to incorporate that into their workflow?
Yeah, a lot of it is, we want to understand what the campaign is. We like to see samples of the campaign
Hmm.
and understand what the imagery looks like. And then we want to understand the process of printing it. Is it sheet fed UV? Is it heat set web? And once we have those answers, we can then come up with, what the best match to our products is, so that, ideally, that this piece can stay in its current production format and just have an extra ink station or a coating station used. That's where the real bang for the buck is, when you stay in your current format and just make that addition.
Hmm. Right. Right. So talk about the marketing advantages at work in using scent. I think that there's certainly a lot of studies that have been done about uh, the power of scent and being able to associate that with a brand and activating areas of the brain that
Sure.
aren't normally activated with a digital channel.
Yep, very true. We have some great research from a bunch of different sources, and one of the most powerful points that we talk about is that um, the sense of smell affects 75% of the emotions that we feel on a daily basis. So it's just got a real connection to emotion, so the idea is to connect your brand, with your target consumer,
Hmm.
and in an emotional way. Obviously you've got to have products that are relevant to them as well, or a service that's offering, but we always say that the idea is to upgrade the mood of the mail recipient, and we know that somebody who's in a happy place is more likely to convert to your ask, whether it be to respond to this campaign or scan the QR code or whatever it may be. So an upgraded mood is really a great way to have a happy client.
Right. Yeah. I mean, looking at all these samples I have, here's an example from Febreze, which is this peel and smell sample right here, which is um, pretty powerful. I mean, it just sort of hits you when and you smile and you're reminded of the product.
Yeah, so for brands like that have fragrant products, the idea is to make sure that the consumer knows what the scent of that product is, right? People are
Mhm.
really sensitive to scent. They have particular feelings about products they use in their home. They want it to be something that's pleasant to them. So for those brands, we offer them all sorts of different ways to let the consumer know what their product smells like. For brands that don't have fragrances, like banks or retailers, the idea is to use seasonal or experiential fragrances,
Mm,
again, to kind of emotionally connect to those consumers and get them to convert to the ask.
right. Yeah. Well, that brings up another question. Do you invent any scents or fragrances, or do you just basically work with existing ones that brands already have?
Sure, that's a great question. So Scentisphere is not in the business of creating fragrances.
Hmm.
We always say we don't create, we integrate.
Okay.
So
Good.
every product that we use in our homes that has a fragrance has an oil in it that gives it that smell.
Hmm.
So when we work with a brand like Febreze, you mentioned them, we source the fragrance oil that is contained in Febreze from their fragrance house. We have agreements with our clients like that where we're able to source those oils. Those oils come in, and then we integrate those oils into our rub and smell coating or varnish or our scent appeal label. So that's how it works with brands that have fragrant products. When we're looking at a project for a bank or retailer or something, many times we are kind of grabbing onto the seasonality. We're coming out of kind of we're coming into the holidays, but we're coming out of the holiday production time for us,
Hmm.
where we did a lot of gingerbread and peppermint and things like that. And it's great that really it doesn't matter what vertical brands are in. We say that brands can always kind of bolt on to the season. The holidays are relevant to pretty much every offering. So,
Hmm.
we've got sources for all sorts of fragrance oils like that we can then turn into our products.
Right. And how long do these scents work once they've been activated or revealed on a mail piece or a printed piece?
Sure. So for the rub and smell product, some of the samples that you've got in front of you are probably 5 to 7 years old.
Hmm.
We actually love to show samples that have old coupon codes on them because it shows how long the product will survive. That rub and smell will sit dormantly on the page for years. And then once you rub it, what you're doing is you're breaking the fragrance capsules. And
Hmm.
so then that fragrance oil blooms. And so you'll find that, up to 10 years, even longer, the scent will survive on the page.
Wow, impressive. That's real impressive. Are there, some popular ones that everybody seems to order?
So we have a stock scent list of 25 fragrances that we keep in inventory
Hmm.
for quick turn projects. They tend to be linked to the seasons. So I mentioned peppermint and gingerbread. We've got a great cinnamon bun. We've got a chocolate, a hot chocolate. So a lot of our clients are using those things seasonally. So the stock scent list kind of goes along with that. My favorite is our gingerbread. I just think it's really a fantastic scent, and this time of year is just really relevant to all the brands.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think um, this one actually here is one of my favorites, which is the Dunkin'
Absolutely.
coffee scents on this.
Yep.
So these scents can be included on or like any direct mail format, like self mailers and envelopes, things like that.
Sure. So great question. So our rub and smell product has always been allowed on the inside of mail. So we've been featuring inside catalogs forever.
Hmm.
Our scent appeal label has been allowed inside of mail, and for the last couple years was allowed on the outside of mail.
Right.
Just last year, last October of 2022, we got approval for rub and smell to be featured on the outside of mail.
Okay.
And that was a process that we went through with the USPS, where they took a bunch of samples and they tested them through their processing equipment. The concerns were: is this going to make the postal sorting facility smell?
Yeah.
Will the scent rub off through all of the belts and gears that it goes through? And so, we were confident going into that, and the USPS gave us full approval to feature our rub and smell on the outside of mail. With that said, there are a couple considerations as far as placement. Best practice we think is featuring on the non-addressed side of
Hmm.
the mail, because on the addressed side, the USPS has set some guidelines to keep the scented area away from the barcode respray area.
Right.
So it's basically got to be featured in the upper half, which, on a 6x9, there's plenty of room. Sometimes that can be a little tight on a number 10. So, for full availability of the area, the opposite side of the address side is a great way to feature on mail.
Right. And something else he reminded me of too is uh, when I'd seen you at Printing United is talking about um, the general subject of embellishments and using scent in even in conjunction with other
Sure.
printing techniques like texture, for example. What kind of process is involved in working with that? Is
Yeah. So texture is a little bit difficult as far as being able to integrate scent into that, but we work with our clients a lot on combining features.
Mm-hmm.
So, at the panel you saw me on in Atlanta, we were with a printer who does lots of really cool foil things,
Right.
and they have integrated our products quite a bit. We were also there with one of our QR code partners. So we are big believers that scent is a powerful tactic in mail, but that when combined, the power of multiple embellishments and
Right.
kind of engaging different senses and different processes is the best way to really get the customer to, or the mail recipient to, respond in a big way.
Yeah, like you said, especially when you have that uh, set making the emotional connection with people, and then when you have a QR code on something like this, where you're just able to immediately inspire them to take action.
Sure. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, yes, we are in the scent business, but I'm a direct mail lifer, and I'm into embellishments as a whole. Yes, scent is very important to me.
Mhm.
But the more creative mailers are getting, the more fun it is, and the more consumers are responding.
Right, right. So we've talked, a lot about direct mail and how scent can be incorporated into those campaigns, but with modern day branding, you also want to have other print channels available to you. So, can you talk about some of the other uses? Like, I have this business card that I picked up with a sample, but
Mhm.
uh, what other ones do you work with?
Sure. So, we really try to help our clients, use scent in all of their different channels that they are communicating with consumers. So you'll see our clients using scent on their packaging. For instance, if you're buying anything in the air care aisle
Hmm.
at any of the major retailers, it is very likely that you are buying something that has a scratch and sniff sticker that came from Scentisphere. Um, we're also helping our clients integrate directly into their paperboard packaging. We are using rub and smell on their packaging. We've got a great line of scented signage that is used on shelf and on displays, so that, for example, a deodorant brand can, use one of our press and smell signs to kind of translate the fragrance of their products. So, lots of different ways. FSIs are a big way that our clients are using scent.
Hmm.
And direct mail is really, just in the last 3 years, has become a big channel in our business. It's certainly an exciting one, but it's really one of the newest ones.
Yeah, and I'm thinking there's like lots of uses. You mentioned like point of sale, but even event marketing is very big and obviously
Absolutely.
resurging post pandemic.
Yep, that's a great point.
Hmm. So getting back to direct mail, what incentives does USPS have for this kind of technology in mail use?
Sure. Yeah, so in 2024, just like the USPS did in 2023, they will be offering the tactile, sensory, and interactive promotion, which
Okay.
will run from February 1st through July 31st, and those are mail dates.
Hmm.
And Scentisphere's products are fully eligible under that promotion. So, basically, the idea is that the USPS is encouraging mailers to get creative and use embellishments like scent or other tactics.
Hmm.
So we love being part of that. It's a great way for our clients to test during that promotion. It can take a chunk out of the testing price. So it's really a great time to try something different, and we're excited about its return in 2024.
Yeah, and it really, helps take the sting out of, having postage increases twice a year as well when you incorporate that.
Yeah, so just some quick math. At scale, at over 200,000 pieces, the postal savings will outrun the cost of our scented coating or varnish. So
Well,
it ends up being a net savings. So that's really the breaking point. With that promotion used to be set at 2%, and then it was
hmm.
at 4%. At 5% now, it's really got a very manageable breaking point where it turns into a net savings.
Wow, that's impressive, 5%. Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. So, given your background in direct mail and everything you do now with Scentisphere, what trends do you see for direct mail marketing in the next couple of years?
Well, I think we're going to continue to see a combination of embellishments like we talked about.
Hmm.
Bringing together a QR code with scent or foil and scent. I think that the USPS is going to continue to drive those innovations with these discounts. I'm hoping we're going to see a return to the days of more testing. I think what I see and what I hear from clients is that There's lots of copy testing going on, but I think there is less feature testing going on.
Hmm.
And so, I really hope we're going to see a return to, testing features, like used to happen in past years. So, only time will tell, but the mail industry is healthy. It's a great channel for brands to be able to use. That's proven more and more and more as the digital side becomes more and more expensive. So
Right.
it's relevant to all brands, and it's become a big piece of Scentisphere's business now. So it's a lot of fun.
Awesome. Yeah, I completely agree too. Um, well, I think that's a really good place to wrap things up. How can people contact you and Scentisphere to find out more about your solutions?
Sure. My email is christopher.matthews@scentisphere.com. Our website is www.scentisphere.com. And my direct line is 860-508-6280. Always welcome to, love to talk, just even when people have rough ideas, just love to get in that initial process.
Absolutely. Ideation all starts with there, right?
Yep. Yep.
Right. Well, Chris Matthews of Scentisphere, thank you so much for being my guest today on Meet the Mailers. And thank all of you out there for joining us today. If you have any questions or feedback or anything for my guests, please leave them in the box below. You can show your support for this channel by tapping the like button and click on subscribe to be notified of new videos. If you want to be highlighted in a future episode of Meet the Mailers, just click the show more button and look for my contact information. Thanks again for watching Meet the Mailers and see you next time.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.